All right, thank you very much, Phil. Before I set up Investor about 4.5 years ago, I was running several global trading businesses with several $billion of annual revenues. It's been fantastic to meet a lot of people here today. I've been asked a lot of questions, what makes Investor different? And there are really two things that make us different. The first is our philosophy, and the second is our technology. And I'd like to talk a little bit about both of those today. I believe that we're all natural investors. We're born with an ability of understanding up, down, and the human emotions that drive financial markets. Every day of our lives, we make investment decisions. We invest our time, our energy, or our money. And each time we cross the road, we're making a calculated risk-reward decision. At Investor, we believe that we can unlock that natural ability in exactly the same way that we learn to play a sport or a musical instrument. Now, I'm not particularly musical. I was an athlete, a swimmer, and a water polo player. But for me to become a great athlete or a great sportsman, you need to do three things. You need to get fit, you need to practice your skills, and you need to perform or compete against other people. So becoming a great financial athlete or a great investor is exactly the same thing. We need to get financially fit, we need to practice our investment skills, and then we need to invest real money and make money in the real world. And I want to show you now how we do that on Investor. So the first thing that we need to do to become financially fit is we need to understand what's going on in the world. We need to read the news, read research reports, understand the calendar of events. We have a blended news feed on Investor, which comes from about 52 different sources that we've carefully collected. All of our members can personalize that news feed by following or unfollowing the news channels that they want to see. They can also look at the individual channels. And one of the channels that we have on Investor is what we call recommended for me. We have an artificial intelligence behind the platform that understands exactly the things that we're interested in and produces a channel just for me. Think of it, we're producing every single day a personal newspaper for each one of our members. We choose from the 15,000 news stories and research reports that we get every day, and we turn it into a personal newspaper for every single one of our members. The second thing that we need to do to become financially fit is to follow the markets and to see how the markets react in relation to what's going on in the world. On Investor, we've got 1,500 instruments covering global stocks, global currencies, global commodities, a few bonds. For the most part, we have streaming real-time pricing. I can't show you that today because the markets are closed. It's very easy to add instruments from those 1,500. Just go back. We tap on the plus button at the top. Either type into the search bar or drill down into one of the sectors and add on the plus button. So we've just added the Airbus group, and then it's very easy to delete as well. For each one of the instruments that we have three kinds of charting. We can't follow the markets every second of the day, so sometimes we need to catch up by looking at a chart of what's happened. We have three kinds of charts on Investor. We have historical charts, so here's a 5-year chart of Twitter. We also have comparison charts, so I can compare Twitter against Facebook in this case. You can see how much Facebook has outperformed Twitter, and I can do that on the fly very, very quickly. In fact, Jim Mellon was speaking earlier this morning, and one of his recommendations was you should buy the Japanese indices and sell the US. So I did that. We've added it in. Here's a chart of the US S&P against the Japanese topics. It took me 10 seconds to put that together. The third kind of charting that we have on Investor is a full technical analysis suite. We can go in, it's the only time when the phone is, you have to turn the phone into landscape mode, but we can go in, we can put candlesticks on there, we can put about 200 different technical indicators on there as well, all on a mobile phone. The third thing that we need to do to become financially fit is we need to talk to people. Because at the end of the day, financial markets are driven by people. They're not about maths, they're about people. And so what we've put on Investor is this is a news feed just for Twitter. So for every instrument, we also create a news feed for every particular instrument, all pulled from all the different sources that we have. but talking to people. We've created on Investor a social feed, just like any other social media network that some of you might use. We can post to that social feed very, very easily. We can add photographs, we can add charts, we can add news stories, we can just add any of our comments as well. We also have a full chat capability, one-to-one chat, group chat, and community rooms, and we can maintain our profile as we would on any other social channel. So now that we're fit, we've read the news, we've followed the markets, we're talking to people, now it's time to start practicing our investment skills. And what we've done on Investor is to build safe and fun ways of practicing out the things that we want to buy and sell before we start to invest money for real. And so we've built 2 games. This is the first game. We call it the investment game. And in the investment game, we just tap buy or sell to practice buying, in this case, Twitter. So imagine I'd bought Twitter, I can sell it, I get my results. We have streaming profit or loss, so we get constant feedback about how our positions are doing and how the overall portfolio is doing. The second skill that we need to practice to become successful investors is not just to practice whether something is going up or down, but also to practice how far those things are going to go up or down, because then that helps us to optimize our portfolios. And so we've built a second game that we call the prediction game. And in the prediction game, I can get to see the community's forecasts for the price, again, I think we're using Twitter again, compared to my forecast for the price of Twitter. And if I swipe down those panels, I've switched now to a Chinese bank, I can get to see my forecasts for the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the quarter, the end of the close. There's no other information service that I know about in the 35 years I've been in financial markets that tells me in real time what other people are thinking about the future prices of different instruments. Once we've practiced our skills, it's time to perform for real and to compete or to invest real money. And what we're going to be introducing on Investor in the next couple of months is what we call real trading. And what's going to be different about our real trading is that we're going to be enabling people not just to buy shares, but to buy fractions of shares. So I can choose to invest $10 or $20 or $30 or £50 or £100 into a share rather than buying an entire share. If you think about some of the big technology stocks, Alphabet and Amazon, they're trading at $850 each. Not everyone has $850 to invest in Amazon and $850 to invest in Alphabet. With fractional share ownership, with £20 or £30 or £50, we can start to build genuinely diversified portfolios. The other thing that we're going to be adding onto Investor is what we call the Academy, which is going to be an educational resource to help people learn about investing in a more formal way. We've currently got, since we launched our first product, we've had about 230,000 downloads. We've currently got active users in 164 countries around the world. They've traded through the games $930 billion. They're currently managing $37 billion on our platform across 1,500 stocks. Last year, our community, on average, made a 6.5% return, far outstripping supposedly the best asset managers in the world, the hedge funds. And the top 15% of our community made 20%. So if you want to join a master community, then I'd encourage you all to download Investor. It's totally free. It's available on both Android and Apple, both phone and tablet. And I look forward to welcoming you all on Investor. Thank you very much.